Please, good morning.
Good
Good
morning,
morning.
ma'am.
Okay. Is group one ready?
Yes, madam.
Okay, please, you can start with the presentation.
Madam, please, do you say group one should start?
Yes, group one, please start.
Okay. Good morning once again.
Good morning.
Mama, please kindly help me with the projection.
Okay. Today I'm joining with my phone. I'm somewhere. So who else can assist?
I'm talking to Mami Poma.
Um,
Okay.
Madam, I'm trying.
Okay.
I have network challenges, so I don't know.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Mm. So, Madam, please, this week we are presenting on regional and global institutions. So, just like in every human institutions, there are bound to be misunderstandings and then problems, issues that need to be resolved. Likewise, when firms trade, by all means, they also encounter some misunderstandings that needs to be resolved um, for global and uh, regional institutions. And so that brought about the birth of these regional and then global institutions, where they are also seen as the um rule makers and then the law rule makers and coordinators that tries to promote peace among firms and then countries that trade regionally and then globally. So we want to look at in our lesson outline. I would read out that one when she projects it, when she shows it. So we want to look at what global institutions are. So global institutions are organizations that operate on an international level to address global issues, promote coordination, and facilitate interactions among countries. Then these institutions can be formal organizations, agreements, or frameworks that shape global governance, trade, security, health, and then more. We want to look at the examples of global institutions that we have. We have the United Nations, that is UN, and its agencies, and their main aim or purpose in global institutions is to promote peace, security, and then coordinate or co- um promote cooperation among nations. Then we also have the World Trade Organization, and then they also facilitate global trade and global trade rules and negotiations. Then we have the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, etc. We want to take a look at the World Trade Organization. So when you think of the World Trade Organization as the global traffic code for international trade, and its primary function is to establish and enforce trade rules among its member countries. This includes things like lowering tariffs, eliminating quotas, and generally making it easier for goods and services to flow across borders. A key part of its role is to settle disputes among its members. And so, for example, if two countries have a trade disagreement, they can take their case to the World Trade Organization dispute settlement body, which acts like a court to help resolve the issue. Without the World Trade Organization, global trade would likely be a free for all, with countries imposing arbitrary and then retaliatory tariffs, leading to instability. Ma'am, for my please, you are unable to do it.
Yes, I'm not able to project.
Okay. Then next we want to talk about United Nations agencies, that is UN agencies. While the UN is best known for its peacekeeping and humanitarian efforts, many of its specialized agencies play a crucial role in international trade and development. Organizations like the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, the International Labour Organization, and then the World Intellectual Property Organization all contribute to development and trade facilitation. They work on the issues like helping developing countries build their trade capacity, then setting global labor standards and protecting patents and copyrights across borders. Their work creates a more predictable and equitable environment for business worldwide. Then we also want to look at, finally, we want to look at the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development and the G20. Then these aren't rule-making bodies like the World Trade Organization, but rather forums forums for global policy coordination. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development is often described as a think tank for developed countries, where they discuss economic policies, share data, and try to find common solutions to global challenges like taxation and environmental protection. The G20, on the other hand, is a forum for the world's 20 largest economies, which collectively represent over 80% of the global GDP. They meet regularly to coordinate policy on issues like financial stability and economic growth. The decisions made in these forums can have a repel uh, effect on the global economy. Then we move on to look at regional integration in Africa, and then we'll take a closer look at all regional integration, and then we'll take a closer look at Africa. So moving from the global stage, we will now focus our attention on regional integration, specifically in Africa. This is where organizations work to bring countries within a specific geographical area closer together. Another key regional player is the Economic Community of West African States, that's the ECOWAS. Then ECOWAS focuses on West African cooperation in trade and investment. Its goals are to create a common market and promote economic and social development within the region. It is an excellent example of how regional bodies can work to facilitate trade, infrastructure projects, and even a common currency, though that's still a work in progress, to strengthen the economies of its member states. Then the African Union, that is AU, and the African Continental Free Trade Area are at the heart of this. The AU is a political and economic union of Africa countries or African nations aimed at promoting unity, security, and economic development. The African Continental Free Trade Area is a flagship project of the AU, Its goals is to create a single market for goods and services across the Africa or African continent, making it the world's largest free trade area for or by a number of countries. This agreement is designed to boost intra-Africa African trade, which has historically been low, and to create a more integrated and competitive African economy. They want to look at the significance of this regional um, or the significance of the the African continental free trade area. This highlights Ghana's commitment to regional integration and positions it as a hub for continental trade. So we want to look at what the Secretariat does. It's the administrative body responsible for implementing the agreement.
Okay. Madam, please, I'll continue. So, from what she has said, um, we've looked at global institutions,
Alright.
which helps when it comes to solving disputes among countries. Since last week, we said international businesses, it is when firms or companies or countries trade beyond their borders. So we are going to conclude with a case study looking at Ghana's role when it comes to the AFCFTA Secretariat. So the question is, where is this secretariat hosted? And the answer is that Ghana hosts it, and specifically it's in Accra. Ghana was chosen to host the secretariat, and it's a permanent one, all because of Ghana's significant role when it comes to political stability, economic stability, and Ghana's leadership in Pan Africanism. So I've even answered why was Ghana chosen. Yes, we Ghana hosting this secretariat. Do we have any opportunities for Ghana? Yes, yes, because we as a country, Ghana, we stand a chance of gaining more opportunities across the various sectors. That is when it comes to trade, people will come here when it comes to investment and all that. So let's look at some of the opportunities. In terms of economic opportunities, we can talk of boosting our exports. That is, Ghanaian businesses, they can sell their goods and services worldwide. Then African consumer base we can have African consumer base without any burden when it comes to high tariffs and trade barriers. When it comes to industrialization too, we stand a chance to benefit. Why are we saying that? In that it will increase the demand for the continent's industrial sector by reproducing goods for the larger markets, the local companies, and other sectors. It also serves as an investment hub for Ghana, as my sister explained. In terms of political and diplomatic influence, yes, it helps when it comes to leadership role. We realized that just last early this month, when the incidents of the plane crash, sorry, the plane crash happened, we realized how African countries' presidents were just trooping it just to commemorate with us. So it helps when it comes to leadership role. It helps our government to negotiate and steer agenda just to help with our trade industry. Then, in terms of employment and skills development, we even setting the secretariat in Ghana here serves as job creation for the country. Then again, it also helps when it comes to transfer of skills. Different countries do come here to trade, so they bring their own knowledge, their own skills, and help trade facilitation. When it comes to customs procedures, it also help, and also international law. So, as Ghanaians hosting the secretariat, are we going to face any challenges? Yes. So let's look at a few challenges that we are going to face as a host nation. We may have problems when it comes to policy alignment. Policy alignment in that, Ghana's, our domestic laws and policies may not be fully aligned with that of the Secretariat, the AFCFTA school. And for example, we have some tax laws, and the Ghana Investment Promotion Center contains provisions that may act as barriers of free trade to the investment. So maybe our policies wouldn't align with that of the UN flagship program's own, and it might cause one or two misunderstanding. We all may also have threats to domestic industries. Why? Because the increased competition from other African countries could pose as a threat to Ghana's less competitive domestic industry. Recently, Ghanaian traders, they agitated at the secretariat because they felt like they were giving foreigners chances to trade. In terms of continental challenges, yes, we are going to have non-tariff barriers, as in, their main aim is to eliminate tariffs. So non-tariff barriers can cause problems like complex customs proceedings, different product standards, and also bureaucratic red tapes can also create major delays and costs at the borders. So, we presented on regional and international, regional and global institutions, where we said that the global institutions, they are rule makers and some of them are coordinators. We looked at the rule makers being the World Trade Organization. Why are they rule makers? Because they establish and enforce trade rules. We also looked at United Nations agency. Now, growing up, we all know that UN, they are into peacekeeping and humanitarian efforts, but they have other specialized agencies which play crucial role when it comes to international trade. And as my sister said, we have the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. We have the International Labour Organization. The International Labour Organization, they are solely into workers' needs and all that. They make sure that just as you are trading, you are making sure you have international trade. You shouldn't undermine the labor practices and the human practices of people working under you. Then we also looked at the World Intellectual Property, who protects the intellectual properties of countries. Then we moved on from the rule makers to the coordinators, where we saw the G20, also known as the Group of 20, and the rest. Then we came to the regional level, the AU, African Union. Just as UN has agencies, African Union also have their flagship program, that is the African Free Continental Trade Area. Then we came to, I've spoken about G20, then ECOWAS, also they focuses on West Africa cooperation in trade and investment. Then we ended it with our key role when it comes to the African Continental Free Trade Area. So please, we are done. Thank you.
Thank you, Group One. That was an excellent presentation. So what you need to know and the class need to know is that globalization is in your exam questions. So kindly read around globalization. Yes, Group Two, please, are you ready? Group Two.
Please, madam. Hello. Yes, please. We
Yes.
are ready.
All right.
Please, we posted our slides on the page.
Yes, I've received it.
All right. Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So, Group Two, we are presenting on the topic entrepreneurship and innovation in international business. And as part of our presentation outline will cover. Search and be forward. Hello. Hello.
We can
Please,
hear
can I
you.
be heard? Okay.
Yes, I
Okay.
can hear you.
Oh, okay. So we are presenting on entrepreneurship and innovation in international business. And as part of our presentation, our outline covers international entrepreneurship, where SMEs are going global, born global, expansion strategies for small firms. We'll be looking at franchising and licensing, then innovation and technology transfer in international trade. Then finally, we will look at a case study, looking at Casapre, Jumia, and Zpay as Ghanaian or global innovators. So we begin with international entrepreneurship. Basically, entrepreneurship has to do with establishing or the process we go through in setting up a business. So an individual or group of individuals will put in their knowledge, ideas, skills, and other resources to establish a business. For the purpose of our study or for the purpose of what we are doing, our emphasis is on small and medium sized enterprises. So when these firms are established and then identify, evaluate, and exploit opportunities in the global world or international markets to create value, then we say they are into international entrepreneurship. So we look at why these small firms go global. There are so many reasons why businesses want to go international. And then we have here market expansion, competitive pressure, access to resources, and diversification. I'm going to take them one after the other, and then we look at what goes into it. So with market expansion, we are looking at how these businesses want to grow, and then we'll explore the global world. They will gain access to customers, or they will gain access to the markets, have a lot of customers patronizing what they do. And as a result of that, they believe they can grow very faster or they can achieve their set objectives. Then competitive pressure. Now, with competitive pressure, we are looking at sometimes when these small firms are operating within the domestic circle, they face a lot of challenges to grow or to survive. So they are forced or they are sometimes prompted to explore markets abroad or to compete with the larger markets just to stay relevant. And so that is competitive pressure, how they are able to explore the outside world or go global just to stay relevant and then to keep their business going. Access to resources. Small firms will go global or will trade outside. And as they do that, so as to get access to raw materials. Sometimes with that, they get access to raw materials at a cheaper price. And then also they are exposed to advanced technology out there, which also helps their business. So when they get access to raw materials and it is cheaper, we all know that they'll be able to produce more and they are able to get more profits. Then talking about diversification, um, small firms operating in multiple markets, as they do so, the company can, as a result, it reduces the dependency on the single market. And as it is associated with economic, the results associated with economic downturns, regulatory charges, and other factors are reduced. That is, it reduces dependency on the local markets. And these are some of the reasons why small and medium-sized enterprises will want to go global. So we move on to some characteristics of international entrepreneurship. And we talk about innovation or being innovative, focusing on new products. With these small firms, one of their characteristics, because they want to trade or they go global, they focus on creating new products or services that can meet the needs of the global markets or that can meet the needs of customers globally. And when that is done, they believe that customers will patronize them more. So they are very creative. As in innovative, we are talking about the fact that they are very creative and are able to come out with new products or new stuffs. Risk taking. Hello? Hey, am I off or I'm on? Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so I can be
Oh,
heard.
yes.
Okay, okay. So we are looking at risk taking as one of the characteristics of international entrepreneurship. Sometimes those small firms or those SMEs, they may not even be able to conduct enough research or gather enough information about the global market. But with the idea or with their aim of going out there to achieve their goals, they willingly enter into some of these unfamiliar markets to work or to sell or do their businesses out there, even though they lack knowledge and experience about the market. They take the risk of going there to trade or to do their business. And when all things work together for them, they are able to succeed. They are also very proactive. Any small opportunity or any small chance they get, they move into the global world. They seize every opportunity to go into the global world or to trade globally. Then network driven. With network driven, we are looking at how these small firms are able to build relationships. So they build relationship with partners, they build relationship with customers and suppliers out there, so as to enable them to grow at a faster rate as they do their business. Now let's quickly look at challenges, the challenges they face as they go global. With the challenges, we have limited resources, we have cultural and legal barriers, then we have access to finance. So with limited resources, sometimes, just as we all know, establishing a business is not an easy thing. It involves a lot. And small firms establishing and wanting to go global will sometimes face the challenge of having money, so financial resource. And even because they don't have money, they sometimes find it difficult to employ people with requisite skills who can undertake the production or who can actually do the work. And so it becomes a challenge. Then cultural and legal barriers. Across the world, we have different countries, we have different cultures, we have countries with different languages. To them in terms of business is sometimes a challenge. It becomes difficult. It doesn't enhance smooth running of business. So differences in regulations, languages, and business practices is also one of the difficulties that small and medium-sized businesses encounter. Then access to finance. Even though they may not have money to put into a lot of money to put into what they are doing, we all know that there are a lot of organizations out there that are in terms of giving loans, but then they also they ask for a lot of things, or it involves a lot of things. You have to get something to part with collateral, you sometimes have to get people to guarantee and all those things. So if they are not able to, or if they don't have all these things to be able to do so, nobody is going to give them the money they are expecting, and it becomes difficult for them to do their business. So with access to finance, we are simply talking about securing funding or difficulty in securing international funding. Okay, so we move on to our second section where we are talking about born globals. So born globals, they are simply those firms that right from their inception or right from their establishment, they have the vision of becoming global. They recognize that their customers or their competition are international. So with what we have on our slides, we say they are startups that are rapidly internationalized, often leveraging technology, innovation, and global networks to reach international markets soon after their inception. And because they have the vision of going global at a very faster rate, they use a lot of technology, a lot of global networks to engage in their businesses, and that they are able to move rapidly into the international markets. Characteristics of born globals. We have rapid internationalization, innovative products or services, global market focus. I think whilst I was explaining under international entrepreneurship, I made mention of some of these ones. Rapid internationalization, like we have described or we have explained what born globals are, firms that quickly expand into international markets. So often within few years of their inception, they think of going global. So maybe within the next year or 2 years after inception, everything they employ advanced technology, they use global network to enable them go or to trade globally. Then innovative products or services. Born globals, they are often creative because right from their inception, they have identified or they have told themselves that their business is international or they are to go international. So they always think of using new ideas, employing creative styles in developing or in making products and services that will meet the global customer needs so that they can actually achieve their goals. Global market focus, which is also one of the characteristics. Rather than gradually expanding into the international markets, they have the focus of going global, like we have mentioned or have said earlier on. And so they quickly jump or they quickly go into the global market. For example, we have a lot of tech startups. Example, the Zipline, which is a medical drone delivery company, has expanded its operations to serve. If you request for anything within the shortest possible time, you get access to it. They are everywhere. Also, we have a lot of companies that are selling products online, which most of us, we patronize them, like the ZPay, the Kiku, and so on. Even Jumia. Jumia is also one of them. Jumia, founded in 2012, is a Nigerian company that has rapidly expanded into several African countries. And with its innovative approach, including mobile payments and logistics solutions, we now find Jumia company quickly expanding, or it has quickly scaled and become a leading e-commerce platform in Africa. So that is about Born Globals. We look at benefits. What else? Or startups that internationalize rapidly. One, access to global markets. We talk about access where these startup companies or these startup firms gain access quickly into the global markets and then also get access to customers. They get in what they do. And this, as a result, increases revenue potential. We also talk about innovation, the way they are able to develop new products and services that meets the needs of the global market. So when these customers are patronizing them, or they are buying, or the business with them, they are also making their profits and they are achieving whatever goal they want to achieve. Then competitive advantage is a benefit. Because they move very fast or early into the global markets, they are able to presence in the international markets, and they are able to build their brand reputation and then recognition for themselves. and gain competitive advantage even before other firms think of coming in or other firms think of entering the markets. They are already there, they have established themselves already. Now, challenges of born globals, cultural and regulatory differences, logistical challenges, and then we have funding and resources. So with cultural and regulatory differences, just like we said in the challenges of international entrepreneurship, different cultures across the world, languages are different, the way of doing things are different, and so it also becomes difficult for them to also communicate or interact as they do businesses. They have to navigate cultural and regulatory differences in international markets. And when these things are there, it becomes difficult to do so. Logistical challenges. Once it is a global business, definitely there will be some importation and exportation of goods here and there. And there are sometimes complex international shipping processes, such as custom clearance and regulations, tariffs, and so on. So it becomes difficult. They face these challenges, and then it becomes difficult for them to run their business. They need to establish efficient distribution networks across the country so that they can operate very well. And it sometimes takes a lot of time. Aside that, it is also very expensive. So it makes it a bit challenging or difficult for this startup companies to do their businesses. I think funding and resources, they require significant funding and resources to support their rapid internationalization. So for them to go international, it needs a lot of funding. And if they don't have that, it becomes a challenge as well. We can now move on to expansion strategies for small firms, where we are focusing on franchising and licensing. So franchising simply has to do with when a business that is well established allows another party or another business to operate under its brand name, business model, and systems in exchange for fees or royalties. So an individual or a group applies all the necessary skills and strategies, establishes a firm, obtains a good brand name, and then allows a startup business or a small firm to operate under that well-established business using its brand name, business model, and systems in exchange for some royalties or for some fees. So, for example, the popular McDonald's restaurants. McDonald's restaurants is across the world. It was established by McDonald's as a small business, and eventually it has now gone global. It has expanded into the global world. It allows individuals to operate this McDonald's restaurants using its brand name and other property systems. So McDonald's restaurants, what I know is it goes into agreement with individuals for a specific term, for let's say maybe if 10 years or 15 years, and then it makes sure that this franchisee or is operating according to the company's operational standards and guidelines. Yes, so this is what franchising is about. We have a franchisor who is actually the one allowing another small business, that is the franchisee, to operate under its brand name, business model, and other systems of operations. Now let's look at some of the advantages of franchising. So for small firms, what becomes their advantage? Faster expansion, shared financial risk, brand recognition, we have motivated operators, and then economies of scale. So I'll quickly touch on them one after the other. Faster expansion. So a small business that is operating under a well-established business, a business that is already known by the public, a business that has already is well known. People, customers, has its customers already. People patronize because it has been in existence for a long time and it has operated very well. So if you're operating under such a business, you let me say your customers are already secured. You have customers, and it enables these small firms to grow very quickly without having to invest too much into what they are doing in terms of, let's say, advertising and so on. Then shared financial risk. So the franchisee is made to invest in the outlets, let me say the location, set up the place and all that. But mind you, the franchise also supports in providing advertisements and then also sometimes training the individual on the business model and how it works, how its operations should be. And so you realize that over here, the franchisee is investing as well as the franchisor is also investing. So the financial burden is not on one party. So both of them are sharing, or both of them are involved here. Brand recognition. As a well-known brand, it means that its operations operating under such an establishment will improve market visibility. People will recognize what you are doing, or it's already recognized because the brand name is already there. And so you get a lot of people patronizing what you are doing, you get your profits, and then your business objectives or your goals are achieved. Motivated operators. As a franchisee, you have invested money into what you are doing, and anybody who invests or puts in more and has passion for what he or she is doing is always willing to do it and do it the best way. So they are highly motivated since they own the outlet, since they are putting more, and then they do their business very well so that they can also grow at a very faster rate. Economies of scale. Economies of scale, we are looking at how these franchises are able to sometimes negotiate better prices because they have been in existence for a longer time. They have established themselves. They are well recognized. They are able to negotiate better prices with suppliers um, due to large volume of purchases across, so they can do so. And then when that is done, buying in bulk, they are able to produce more and they will get more profits, and it lowers cost as well. So that is what economies of scale is about. The disadvantages of franchising. Loss of control is one of them. We talk about complex legal agreements, and then reputation risk, and then profit sharing. So with loss of control, as a business, a small business that is operating under a well-established business, a business with a name, the franchisor normally controls the activities. But in the case where um, the franchisor loses sight of maybe the day-to-day activity for some reason, you realize that some of these franchises may not be maintaining the quality or the standards. So somebody will purchase, if it's a restaurant, let's say purchase food from Chicken Man at a particular branch, it wouldn't go well, and then the customer will not be able to go out there or wouldn't be able to explain it out there very well, showing exactly where he or she bought the food. But then the whole thing will be like, oh, Chicken Man, they are not preparing their food well, everything is not going well, and then it will eventually lead to something else. So some franchisees may not always maintain quality or the standard of operations. There are complex legal agreements here. It involves parting with a fee or some ongoing royalties. Sometimes it becomes difficult entering into contracts. And then it's also time consuming. Some of these bigger firms or bigger organizations, they wouldn't take it so lightly after all that they have gone through to make their name or to establish, just allow you to come in and within few days or few years come and spoil everything. So they do proper assessments. So sometimes due to these legalities, it becomes a little bit expensive and time consuming. Reputation risk. As I explained when I was doing loss of control, I was explaining loss of control, poor performance. So when the franchisee is not following the business model, it can damage the brand reputation. So it affects the entire brand, like I've said earlier on. And then profit sharing. Profit is not meant for only one part. Both the franchisor and the franchisee are going to work or are going to split what comes out of what they are doing. Let's quickly look at licensing, where a small firm is granted the right to use an organization's intellectual property, that is products, technology, or processes in exchange for royalties or in exchange for fees. So with licensing, I think if you look at licensing, it has some slight similarity with franchising, but it is a different thing altogether. With this one, the emphasis is on the intellectual property. So the licensee has the right or has access to production and doing everything on its own, only using the technology or the intellectual property of the licensor. Now, some of the advantages include low cost expansion, access to foreign markets, lower profits, and then dependency. So, hello, I trust I can be heard.
Yeah, you are on point.
Oh, okay. So we are looking at we look at dependency. Why is it a disadvantage of licensing? So the small firms, um, they become dependent on the licenses because you see that everything now depends. Oh, sorry. I'm looking at advantages of licensing. So low cost expansion, access to foreign markets, revenue from royalties, and faster entry. Sorry, faster entry. So, this there is no need for heavy capital investment. The license is already there. The market is already exposed. So the people or the licensee is able to produce, go into the market and then do business. The access to foreign markets with a license, they are able to expand internationally with minimal risk because they are operating under a well um, established or a well licensed organization. Then revenue from royalties. It provides income without high operating costs. Yes. Disadvantages of licensing. Limited control is one of them. Risk of imitation, because the licensee is made to or controls the production, the marketing, and then the quality of the good being produced. Sometimes um the licensee, as he or she goes about his or her daily activities, will now learn or will be very conversant with the technology that the licensor is employing in doing his or her business, and will eventually become a competitor of the licensor, because you now imitate what the person is doing and then take it on the market. And then because the licensee is the one controlling the production, the marketing, and everything, the licensor has very limited or little control on what is being done. Lower profits. Revenue comes only from the sales, or only from what is being done, from the royalties. Unlike when we get to the key differences, we will talk about, unlike franchising, where it is ongoing. This one, the royalties from the revenue is only coming from the royalties, I mean the direct sales. So quickly, we look at the key differences between franchising and licensing, some of which, whilst I was going through the franchising and the licensing, I think I've mentioned them already. We have where the franchisor provides extensive support and maintains significant control. It is something he or she has established with a lot and wouldn't want it to go down the drain, and so provides full support and controls the activities, or makes sure that the franchisee is operating under um, the business model. Then for the licensor, once the permission is granted, the licensee has more control over what is being done. The franchisee operates a business using franchises, established business model, brand, and um, property systems, which we have spoken a lot about. The licensee uses the license's intellectual property to operate their own business. We also have where, after the initial fee being paid by the franchisee, there is still ongoing royalties based on sales or revenue. But when you come to the licensing, the licensee usually pays the royalties, and after, I think, business goes on. It's not like every time they are supposed to pay ongoing royalties. A more comprehensive and ongoing relationship between the franchisor and the franchisee, because the franchisee supervises or controls day-to-day activities, provides more support and all that. There is a very good relationship between the franchisor and the franchisee. A more limited relationship appears on the other side, which is in terms of licensing, a more limited relationship, because the whole thing is focused on using the intellectual property. And I think after that, production and everything is just the business or the activity of the licensee. We now go to innovation and technology transfer in international trade. So innovation, like we all know, is about how,
Hello. Hello. Sorry, madam.
yes,
Please, good morning, madam. Please, I want to
good
ask
morning.
a question. Please, I want to ask a question.
Can I please
Would
finish? When I finish, you bring your question.
okay.
Thank you. So we are on innovation and technology transfer in international trade. So innovation, like we all know, it has to do with creating new and improved products, services, processes, or business models that can provide value to organizations, customers, or the society at large. And then technology, we are looking at how we are able to apply scientific knowledge to create tools and systems that can make human life easier. So in innovation and technology, we are basically looking at applying scientific knowledge to create tools and systems that can be used to produce new or improved products, services, and then services or processes across borders to improve efficiency, competitiveness, and growth in the global trade. That is what innovation and technology seeks to talk about. How we will be able to use our skills, we're able to use our knowledge to make systems or to produce tools that can be used to produce products, services, and processes across the world. Now, our emphasis is on using AI, mobile money, blockchain in international trade. AI, that is artificial intelligence. That is how we popularly call it, AI. So, what is AI talking about? AI is simply talking about a computer system that can perform tasks that typically require, let's say, human intelligence. We say this because I think majority of us, we have access to this AI. We see how it's able to help identify and then help track markets competitors activities. It helps in doing categorizing customer segments and all that. So we use this AI to perform a lot of activities, and we realize that with AI, I think it enhances efficiency and it helps in decision making too. So when it comes to businesses, it's able to help in doing this across the world. Looking at how AI is applied, or we are looking at how we apply AI in international trade. So we look at trade logistics. The application, we have trade logistics. We also have risk management, market analysis, and then also we have customer service. So with customer service, we know we have on the system, we have what we call the AI chatbots, which normally helps provide support in resolving issues. So it provides a multilingual support for international trade in terms of buying and selling. Yes, it helps make it easier and then make it efficient. Then also, we look at how AI is able to help identify and then categorize customer segments based on behavior and preferences. Yes, so it helps predict pricing, it helps predict customer behavior across the countries, and then also predicts demand. We are able to access, or we are able to find out whatever in terms of business, whatever we are producing or whatever the organization is sending out there, we are able to access to know the demand, how high or how low the demand is, look at the pricing, and then how customers react to some of these goods we are sending out there. I think AI helps us do that. Also helps us to track our competitors' activity. Is a business we are doing, so we are able to track this. It helps us track our competitors' activities, so we know how to also balance our activities in order to win the market or in order to get more customers. In terms of risk management, it's able to help us detect fraud in the line of our business or in doing business. It's able to help us to detect fraud when there are, in terms of, let's say, exporting goods, or in terms of importing goods, when you are shipping and all those things. I think AI has a special way of helping us to detects if something is not going well, or if something people are tampering with it, and so on. So across borders or across the country, we can also use AI. We have trade logistics. Optimizing our shipping routes helps us to detect, or helps us to know the simplest or the appropriate routes that we can use in terms of um, shipping, so that we can actually get our goods on time and then get it safe as well. We look at mobile money. Mobile money is a financial service. I think as for mobile money, majority of us are very conversant with it. It's a financial service. It allows payments, savings, and transfers throughout mobile devices. It is used worldwide. I think small businesses are using it. Even the larger organizations are also using it. I think it is faster, it is efficient doing business with it. How do we apply mobile money in our businesses, or how are these small, medium, and medium-sized enterprises using this one in international trade? So we talk about cross-border remittances, where workers abroad, um, or people working outside or even within the country, you can send money to do business at home instantly. You just sit down in the comfort of your home, and then you transact business without having to go up and down or moving from one place to another. And then trade payments. Small businesses, exporters and importers, they use mobile money a lot, instead of this banking system, which sometimes comes with a cost. And then also moving to the bank, carrying money here and there. So when you are using mobile money, I think it is safe. From your wallet, you send it across. If somebody also wants to send to you, the person will also send to you, and it enhances smooth running of business. Financial inclusion. Even those small businesses in the rural areas or the remote areas, they are able to access international markets with this mobile money. Everywhere you go, wherever you find yourself, you can do business. So I think that mobile money, it increases participation of these small firms and individuals in terms of global business. And then it reduces transaction delays and the cost that will have to come alongside with it. Blockchain technology. Blockchain technology. With blockchain technology, we are looking at a decentralized digital ledger that provides a secure and transparent transaction across a network of computers. So decentralized in the sense that this is a database that it records transactions across a network of computers. Here, it is not a single entity that is controlling everything, the entire network. I mean, it's varies, and then it's able to verify and then validate transactions properly or appropriately. So businesses or organizations, when they are using them, it makes it easier, or it makes it efficient for their businesses to move on. Now, in terms of how it is being applied in international trade, we talk about smart contracts. Smart contracts. Please, a minute. Why is this thing going to? Oh, oh. Okay, so application, blockchain application. Smart contracts, we talk about them, it's applied in supply chain, transparency. We also talk about trade finance and then custom and compliance. So with custom and compliance, we are looking at how this blockchain technology is able to or is used to manage our custom documentation. You know, when you are doing business in terms of exporting and importing, we do there is a lot of custom process, documentation, and so on. It's a system that is making it easy, a technological system. It's based on technology. So it helps reduce this paperwork. Yes, and then makes it faster and easier. So it helps manage our customs documentation. It also helps to track compliance with regulations and then also able to facilitate audits. We are able to audit what the documents, or we are able to audit what we are doing. Then the trade finance, it enables faster and then secure payments. It speeds up and then also reduces paperwork, speeds up operations and reduces paperwork. In terms of supply chain transparency, we look at how this blockchain technology helps our firms to track their goods movements, enabling effective monitoring. So it also it helps in verifying the product's authenticity and then helps reduces counterfeits. So that is what supply chain transparency. Goods can be tracked from origin or can be tracked from their origin to the destination where they are going to or where they are expected to go to. It also ensures that in doing business, um, international trade agreements, or it automates international trade agreements, or in doing business, it ensures that the terms and conditions that apply with whatever transaction or whatever business we are doing are not tampered with. We have appropriate, or we have an excellent um, agreement being done. And when the agreement is done, nothing can change it, because this is a system that is being managed, or that is across all networks, a system that is not managed by only one entity, or not managed by only a single entity, not controlling it. Is something that is across. So when we use it in doing our agreements in terms of business, it is not tampered with. We can have it exactly the way it is. Anytime we want to refer to it, we can refer to it, and we are good to go. So in short, I think that this blockchain, it's able to build trusts. It brings out transparency, makes it faster, so as those businesses can grow quickly and then achieve whatever they want to achieve. I think the benefits of using AI, mobile money, and blockchain, whilst I went through the application clearly, reducing transaction costs and time delays, where you can sit back and do it everywhere you are or wherever you find yourself, improving security and fraud prevention, expanding access to SMEs and developing countries, where small and medium-sized businesses can do business across the world, wherever they find themselves, whether in remote areas, every corner you can do business once you have access to these apps. And then facilitates real-time payments and contracts across borders. The last thing we look at is the case study on Kasapreko Jumia ZPay going global or as global innovators. So as I explained innovation earlier on, it is a key driver in every business. If you want to succeed or you want to grow, move on and on and on, I think creativity is key. You need to always bring on board new, develop new skills of doing your business. And I think that innovation is one of the things that um, does so or helps in doing business internationally. And so if we take Casa Precon, View, Casa Precon happens to be one of the Ghanaian beverage manufacturers established in the 1980s. It has been one of the first to package alcoholic beverages in PET bottles, localized production to reduce import reliance, developed products tailored to African tastes, and Company Limited and the products or the services it provides to us in Ghana here, I think we know a lot of them. It's a fast organization, a fast running business across the world or and is able to export to over 15 countries across the world. And then it emphasizes on quality control and branding to compete globally. So outside or out there in the world, Casa Precon is also doing a lot of business, obtaining a lot of profit or achieving its goals out there. Jumia is also one, the popular Jumia that is into sales across the world, a leading e-commerce platform, online markets place in Ghana with nationwide delivery. So it used to be the first major online marketplace. It introduced cash on delivery, and then now mobile payments models are also involved. And in terms of global, it operates in multiple African countries, adapting to local market challenges. I think some of these challenges we have spoken about them whilst we talked about internet entrepreneurship. ZPay, an overview. A fintech company focused on digital remittance and mobile financial service. Pioneered mobile to mobile international money transfer, integrated with major platforms, has to do with this MTN, Vodafone, Airtel, Tigo, and all the other networks. It has also partnered with international remittance services like this MoneyGram, which we normally use. It has been able, as it goes international, it has been able to bridge the gap in diaspora remittances and mobile wallets in Ghana and Africa. ZPay is operating in a lot of countries. I think over 20 countries it is operating in. So it is also into this international business. I think these organizations are doing very well in the international markets. They have showcased how Ghanaian innovation in production technology and service delivery can position local firms on the global stage. They serve as models of adapting to local needs while maintaining international competitiveness. Please, I'm done. Thank you. You people should get me water. Hello. Hey, Anna, I
Hi.
didn't know make us as a. Hey, Ben, send me call
Hello?
phone. Makasi.
No, madam, you are on. You didn't
Ah,
go.
okay.
Madam,
Yo.
madam, we are
Still
hearing you.
Oh, okay. So please,
Mm.
that is the end of our presentation. Thank you.
all right. Thank you, madam.
This, Doc, are you leaving? Doc, we can't hear you again. We are on cooling break.
Okay.
Hello, police. Are we on break?
No, I just said it too.
Please, when are we coming? My network, sorry. When are we coming?
We are not on break. Oh. We are not on break.
Hey.
I think we are done for the day.
Are you sure?
Oh, that is what
Okay,
Madam
I'm
said.
leaving.
She's done. Madam said she's done. It means we are done.
Okay, okay. So we should go on. Sorry.
On the platform.
Okay, we are leaving.
Are you sure? Because I can't see anything now. Or you are in group 3.
But I think Mad is still with us. So I suggest the rep should consult her and see whether we are done for the day so that we can do what's supposed to.
Yes, sir. So the course rep should do that. We are all waiting.
Yeah, I think that is the ideal situation that we should do. Mame Poma,
Okay, so we let us keep quiet so that the course rep gives us direction to follow.
I don't know whether she can also hear what I say. That is another issue.
Her line is there. So if like you can contact her so that we keep quiet over here.
Okay. Three. Why don't you present? She's still on. I don't know whether she's having a network challenge or something. So whilst I'm trying to contact her, group three.
Through, so my network stopped small.
Okay.
Yeah. It's group three. I think the last. Oh, my network, Charlie.
Doc, please, we can hear you.
Is group three is group three ready?
Yes. We can do the presentation.
Okay. So what group two also presented is also around globalization. So you should also be reading around that particular topic. You find something around something like that in your exams. So, group three, please let us take your last presentation.
Okay. Group 3, our presentation is on risk, security, and business strategy. So the sub-topic and the discussion for now is political risk and business strategy. So under slide 2, we look at navigating political risk in international business. Understanding political risk, that is, country-specific government policies, etc. Then the definition of political risk. Political risk refers to the likelihood of changes in government regulations, laws, or policies that can impact a business's operations or profitability. They will look at country-specific risks, and this includes instability, corruption, and terrorism. So assessing political risk, we use this textual analysis if you want to assess political risk. So textual analysis is a framework for analyzing the external environment of a business, including political, economic, social, technological environment, and legal factors. And apart from using the textual analysis, other tools for assessing political risk include country risk assessment and political risk insurance. Then how are we going to mitigate political risk? We can mitigate political risks by diversification or hedging. Diversification involves spreading investment across different countries or industries to reduce exposure to political risk. Hedging, on the other side, involves using financial instruments to mitigate political losses due to changes in exchange rates or commodity prices. Then other options that are used in hedging are uh, options and forwards. That these are the common hedging techniques that businesses use. Now look at case study. Look at sorry. Please, sorry, I'm coming. We look at a case study, example of a company managing economic and financial risk. For example, a company operating in a country with a high risk of currency fluctuations may choose to hedge its currency exposure using options or forward. That is for political and financial risk. Sorry, please, I jump to the other slide. The case study, example, a company navigating political risk. For example, a company operating in a country with a high risk of exploration may choose to form a joint venture with a local partner to reduce its exposure to political risk. That is for slide 2. Then we'll move on to slide 3, political and financial risk. In the title, Managing Economic and Financial Risk in International Business. Understanding economic risk. Example, we have exchange rate, inflation, etc. Economic risk refers to the potential impact of changes in economic conditions on a business's operations or profitability. Look at exchange rate. Exchange rate, inflation, and interest rates are key economic risks that businesses must manage. Understanding financial risk, that is currency fluctuation, interest rates. Financial risk refers to the potential impact of changes in financial markets in a business's operations or profitability. Currency fluctuation and interest rates are key financial risks that businesses must manage. Then we have hedging strategies, and that one we have options and forward. The hedging involves using financial instruments to mitigate potential losses due to changes in exchange rates or commodity prices. Options and forwards are common hedging strategies used by businesses. Then we look at a case study. A case study, example of a company managing economic and financial risks. For example, a company operating in a country with high risk of currency fluctuations may choose to hedge its currency exposure using options or forward. Then we look at slide 3, legal and regulatory risk. That's the compliance and regulatory risk in international business. Understanding legal and regulatory framework, local laws, international laws, etc. Legal and regulatory risk refers to the potential impact of changes of laws and regulations on a business's operations and profitability. Businesses must comply with local laws and regulations as well as international laws. They will look at compliance strategies, due diligence, training, etc. Compliance involves ensuring that a business operate in accordance with relevant laws and regulations. Due diligence and training are key compliance strategies used by businesses. Consequences of non-compliance, fines, reputational damage, etc. Non-compliance with laws and regulations can result in significant fines and reputational damage. Businesses must prioritize compliance to avoid consequences. Then we have cyber security and data protection. Title: Protection against cyber security threats in international business. Understanding cyber security risk, like data breaches, hacking, etc. Cyber security risk refers to the potential impact of cyber attacks on a business's operations or profitability. Data breaches and hacking are common cyber risks that businesses must manage. Data protection strategies that can be used are encryption and access control. Data protection involves ensuring that sensitive information is protected from unauthorized access or disclosure. Encryption and access control are key data protection strategies used by businesses. Then we have incident response training, that is response teams and communication plans. We can institute this to control cyber risk. Encryption and access control are key data protection strategies used by businesses. Incident response planning, response teams and communication. Incident response planning involves preparing for potential cyber security incidents. Response teams and communication plans are essential components of incident response planning. Then we come to corporate social responsibility. Then the role of corporate social responsibility in international business. Understanding corporate social responsibility, environmental sustainability, social impact, etc. CRS refers to a business responsibility to operate in a way that is socially and environmentally responsible. They will look at environmental sustainability and social impact. They are key aspects of corporate social responsibility, and the benefits of the environmental sustainability and social impact. This, we have reputation and stakeholder engagement. CRS can have a positive impact on a business's reputation and stakeholder engagement. Businesses that prioritize corporate social responsibility experiences financial benefits such as increased customer loyalty and retention. Then look at the challenges of corporate social responsibility, that is resource constraints and conflicting priorities, etc. CRS can be challenging for business, particularly those with limited resources. Conflicting priorities and stakeholder expectations can also make CRS challenging. They will look at future of international business. The future of international business, that is strengths and opportunities. Emerging markets and trends, that is digitalization and sustainability. Emerging markets and trends are shaping the future of international business. Digitalization and sustainability are key trends that are transforming the way businesses operate and interact with customers. Opportunities and challenges, that is globalization and protectionism. Globalization and protectionism are two opposing trends that are shaping the future of international business. Businesses must navigate these trends to identify opportunities and mitigate challenges. Strategies for success, that is innovation and adaptability. To succeed in the future of international business, companies must prioritize innovation and adaptability. This includes investing in digital technologies, developing sustainable business models, and building agile and responsive organizations. Case study. Example of a company thriving in the future of international business. For example, companies like Amazon and Alibaba are thriving in the digital age by leveraging technology to reach new customers and markets. This is the end of the presentation for Group 3. Thank you.
Okay, Group 3. Thank you. Thank you all very much for the presentation. I'm really impressed with the research we've all done. So let's take note of these few things. If you have any past questions, specifically those who teach international business last year, I think you can ask your course coordinator or what. Those are the centers. Yes, they can assist you with that. I would be happy if you go through their questions and try and solve them, because the truth is that I just did some few skirmishes. Most of them you may find in your current setup, but for your quiz, it will be slightly different. So try and solve those past questions. And as I said, today's presentations are somehow you will find that in your exams. And then last week, what week one presented, you would have that in your case study. So make sure you meet week one and you let them give you their slides so you can go through what they presented. Because the case study is all about what they presented last week. And then the additional questions that you saw is around whatever you've all presented today. So I'm happy you took that serious, because I could see some few things and I'm like, if you all could remember, it means everybody just in better. But you can also, as I said, look for the past questions. You see the structure of how some of the questions were asked and all that, and you will be fine. So on this note, I think we end our session for the semester. Is there any contribution? Is there any question, a query? Oh, madam, this one we didn't do it well, so that we all apologize and we move forward. Yes. Anything from you?
Madam Steph, um,
Yes, please.
concerning the past questions, when you go to the coordinators, they will tell you they don't have. You have to go to Cape Coast, code yourself, and go and ask. I don't know if you can. That's why we are pleading. If you can also help us, because my center, Takrady Center, I've been there twice, and she says they don't have copies unless I go to Cape Coast Code and check for myself. I don't know
Oh,
of my other colleagues. Oh yes, last semester, for instance, last block, I didn't receive even one. I tried searching for it,
oh,
not even one. I don't know of my
okay,
colleagues.
okay,
They can
okay,
attest to that. Or
okay, okay, okay. I will, please try and mind me tomorrow. Okay,
sure, I will.
okay. All right. Any other concerns? Please, any other concerns from us before we officially end our class?
Madam, I'm
I
back
think
again.
today,
And from what we presented there, if you also have additional notes, you can give it to us, like the 1 and 2 slides you pushed to us, in addition
okay,
to
okay,
ours.
okay, okay, okay. All right, all right. I think today we've closed early, so some people can go to church. Okay. Then there are no, and I asked If there was something I did that some people also didn't like, you could also tell me and then I apologize. Is there something like that? If not, we can end here for today and for the semester. Please thank you all for joining. Have a wonderful semester. Bye bye.
Thank you,
Right.
Doc. Thank you.
Bye.
Class, please, if anyone has any past questions, try and push it on the page for all of us to go through. Why? Any of the courses.
Okay, we will research.